Welcome to Kano Iwanyayu broadcast. This is Sangwadzi Piwekachidza Mapfumo. We're back. I'm sorry for the bit of confusion there. We had a problem with our guest who we were expecting to come today. But guess what? I've got somebody amazing who is going to be our guest today. We've got Wadzanai Valerie Garwe, and we're going to be talking about very, very important things. And I'm going to wait a little bit and see how many people are going to. I see 6 people there joining us. Come in, everybody. Come in. Yeah. All right. So today we have invited Valerie Garwe. Wadzanai, I have to give you her profile because she is an amazing woman. She's a professional economist. She's working with FAO and based in Rome, Rome, Italy. And Wadzanai is a mother of 2 adult kids, successful adult kids who are not living with HIV, because she's going to be talking about her life living with HIV for the past 31 years. She's got 2 children who are both HIV negative. And she's an author of 3 books. The latest book is called Beyond and Behind: The Faces of HIV and AIDS. We'll talk to her about that a little later. Wadzanai has lived in many, many countries. She's lived in the United States, she's lived in Mozambique, she's lived in Singapore, she's now living in Rome. To me, I've known Wadzanai for the longest time, and she blows my mind all the time. To start with, I always remember she's an amazing writer. I read all the stuff she puts on Facebook. She's just amazing. She's truly amazing. But the fact that she has been living with HIV for the past 31 years, it's a testimony that it's time people learn a little bit more about HIV. So I have invited her today to come and tell us her lived story. She's an ordinary person who is doing extraordinary work. And her advocacy in HIV and mental health really has to be applauded, and we appreciate that. Wadzanai, welcome to Kano Iwanyayu broadcast. Here you'll be talking to Sangwadzi Spiwe. Please chip in. Come in.
Tete, thank you. One of the things that I wanted to say is Tete Spiwe is my Tete, which is a Tete through marriage. She's my aunt through marriage. I was married in Togo. I am divorced now, and we were a discordant couple. So I'm going to start there, Tete, because a lot of people always say, how can you marry when you have HIV? Can you live with someone? We were a discordant couple. Discordant means that my ex-husband was HIV negative and I was HIV positive. So we were able to live. And at the time that I got HIV, it was 1992, Tete. Kwanga kusina New Start. Kwanga kusina ma clinic who talk about HIV. It was killing people. In fact, it was called the gay disease in the States. And Tangati Chivi Gavanu, it was 1 in 4 people in 1992 had HIV. I buried so many of my friends. There's a lot of trauma associated with HIV, and there's a lot of stigma. So for the longest time, not even my mom or dad knew. My father died without knowing that I was HIV positive. I lived from 1992 until 2003 with only 3 people knowing I was HIV positive. And the 3 people were my ex-husband, my friend and myself, because I discovered I was HIV positive because I went for an insurance test. Old Mutual or one of these, I can't remember the others, were doing life insurance. And in Zim, it was a big thing to get insurance when
Mhm.
you started working. So my friend said to me, she was selling insurance, side hustling, working full time trying to make money. And she said, "Wadzi, come and get insurance." So I've always been a supporter of my friends. So I thought, okay, I'll just go. So I went, had the test, and I was actually going to pick up the results. And of course, I came with my then boyfriend. We're just going to pick up the results. I'm going to sign some papers, and then we go on our way. My life changed in an instant. I was 26 years old, Tete. 26. At the height, I'm the eldest daughter. So you know the pressure that's on the eldest daughter. You're supposed to
Mhm.
do well, you're supposed to go to school, you're supposed to be the example. Here I am with a diagnosis of a death sentence, you know, because it was a death sentence at the time. At the time, it was like COVID now with
Mhm.
conspiracy theories and vanhu vachingoti kana wacho. It was called Jainzichi Mkondombera.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
On its
This,
own, that word on its own, it was just so stigmatizing.
it
You
was
can't
so
even explain what it means, right?
It was horrible, Tete. And Mkondombera is something that is so over. It's like a tsunami, Anditi.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's something that's so overwhelming. There was you couldn't talk about it. Why taura nani? Why would ani? Especially that I'm 26. I'm meant to be a virgin because in our culture you get married as a virgin. And so who am I going to tell? Because look, I am HIV positive. How was that going to come out? So, and may I say, my ex-husband was really good. He said to me, "Wadzi, everybody's dying, nobody knows how you're going to die. So as because you've got HIV doesn't mean it's a death sentence. You might as well live. Let's live for as long as you're going to live."
But that time, that's what it was. There was no treatment. There was no medication. So really, if you were diagnosed HIV positive, your next step was just to wait until you go down.
Yes.
Vanu, they used to call it Wagara Nanja. I don't know if you understand Nanja. It's something that you slide. You just once you step on it, you're going. That's how it was. So how did you manage it? The problem is a lot of people want to ask, where did you get it? But that's not the point. Let us talk about HIV. I want you to talk about your story, like you have, and how what support you got in the process, and up to where you are. Then treatment was there, and of course you believe in the science of magic.
Yes. The first thing, Tete, I come from a family kunemanes. I come from a family of lots and lots of medical people. My mom is a nurse. My aunts were nurses. So it's nurses and teachers. So coming from that sort of family, I was taught to make a diagnosis and make an analysis. So,
Mhm.
teachers teach you to learn. You must learn about the disease. So I learned. I used to read extensively. I would challenge my doctor. The one thing that I've got to tell people, your body is your own. You cannot rely on the doctor to manage your illness. You have got to manage your illness. And I'll tell you, I survived for until 2003. From 1992 until 2003, I had no ARVs. They weren't there. They were there, but they were very expensive. They were just developing the science.
Mhm.
There was no access. Isusuku Africa, we hadn't even been considered. We were being told, Kuti, this HIV came from monkeys in Africa. We were fighting the stigma.
Mm.
So nutrition, chikafu chatinodya, ndo chinotirapa. What we eat is what is, food is health. I don't eat palenta, that white one. I eat munga, zhio. I eat the things that are ground. If you're going to eat sadza, eat guy roller meal. The straight run.
Mhm.
Don't eat the fully processed, the white. You don't need that. You
Mhm.
need the food that our grandparents used to eat and our great grandparents. You need to eat well. You need to eat dovi, peanut butter. You need to eat beans. You need to eat vegetables. As you can see, I'm a meat girl. So I love my protein, but you need to eat well. So I can tell you the first survival strategy for anyone with HIV is manage your food. When we who live in Europe and the West, we really do have to manage our food because our food has lots of additives.
I know.
So you really have to look for tumirwa mufushwa, the dehydrated vegetables from Kumusha. My mom packs it and sends it to me. Vanonditumira munga. Everyone who's coming to Rome, I just ask, please, can you pick up a small package for me? And I have these things. I can make myself porridge with peanut butter, So the first thing I'm going to tell you is nutrition. The second thing is guard your soul with all you can.
Explain that, because when you say guard your soul, I know where you're going with it. It's very important for the ordinary person. They don't realize the importance of to steal yourself. Explain that, to guard your soul.
Firstly, toxicity kills you. Unorwara because somebody will say, and mazwanuka fanka nini and wasimba uri right. That's a toxic person. That's already toxic. Why are you asking me about my health? How come you don't know? You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know what medication I'm on. And you're already saying, Sagawa Simba. That's toxicity, people. Get rid of toxicity in your life. I do not do a toxic person. I block and delete people. I block. I will block you and I will delete your number. I will love you from afar. When I'm talking about guarding your soul, you are the author of your story. Nobody, if they don't pay your bills, they have no business in your life. I tell people all the time, Tete.
Sometimes people might look at it and say, well, because you don't live Kumusha, you don't live with these people, and people who send you on a guilt trip, people who gaslight you, and all those kind of things that shake you, that make you stay home and thinking, what is going on? I think if I'm correct, it is to avoid disturb mind yako, because sometimes it doesn't end there.
And Kumusha, I lived Kumusha. I've lived Kumusha until the whole time I had HIV until 1997. I only moved to Europe in 2010, right? My vangu always says, Wadzika, Wadzano gonna go smile obvati only mama, and she'll go and do what she wants to do. My mom knows. I will listen, I'll be respectful. I won't argue with you. You're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to give me advice. That's okay. But it doesn't mean that
advice I have to... In what? I mean, advice in what? Because, you know what? Let's narrow it. Because when we're talking of stigma, there is stigma of people just like, I don't want to be near her because she's HIV positive. That's people to you, right?
Yes.
There's also internalized stigma when someone is HIV positive, because of people who are gaslighting you, people who are toxic around you, who say things that disturb your sensibilities. Those people can actually shift your mindset and can put it in a very dark place. And that's to be, so we need to talk about the different kind of...
I'm going to go there, Tete.
Yeah,
okay. The man I was married to would say to me, Wadzi, ndofunga wane machumas on your brain. Nekuti, your behavior. He was gaslighting me. He was trying to make the true meaning. I don't know if you've watched the movie of Gaslight. The true meaning of trying to make you crazy, right? Trying to make you not trust yourself. I started to write down conversations. I would take notes if we were having a conversation, because he would say, no, I never said that. You heard it different. So I'm talking about somebody who was so close to me, who had been on the path, on the journey with me. But people change, people get tired. People also get, foreign influences. They start to talk to people because Remember that you are not the only one who's living with this disease. At this point, I was a mother of 2 young children. I'd had, we had been through a lot together. And, people get tired. So when I'm talking about guarding your soul, you need to know who you are as a person. Tete, your story is your own. Hapana akati udzenini kuti Spiwe is like this, right? It's only Spiwe who knows who you are. Everybody is entitled, like I said, you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to tell, wadzimas vano, ndofunga uri kudya stereki, uri kuita sei. Inini ndinenge ndichiziva nhamo yangu. So whenever you tell me that, that's on you. That's you projecting your stuff, right? I'm not going to take that on and internalize it.
So with HIV, with HIV, how was that like with people around you? Did tell us some people were very close to you what they felt like, and also maybe relatives also, once they found out that you were HIV positive. How did you get to here? How did you get to where you are, you advocate with HIV? You talk to anybody about it.
Give me 1 minute. I have to open the gate.
Okay.
1 second. I'll be back in 1 second.
Okay. Sorry about that, people. I wanted to bring Wadzi today so that we can hear her lived story, living with HIV. 31 years is a long.
I'm back.
All right.
So let me tell you, Tete, when I talk about this, when I talk about a person knowing themselves, that's the most important thing, because you are the author of your story. When you take control of your story, you then know what you want and don't want. So the first thing, Tete, identify in your life, right? Identify things that you cannot handle, cannot live with, cannot deal with, and get rid of them. As I say, if you don't pay my bills, you are not entitled to stepping into my life and my story. I will invite you in. I will say, if I want, right? Hapana kunyangwe amwene kana kuti mama vako kana baba. If those guys are toxic, you love them from afar. You set boundaries. Boundaries are so important in HIV. You need to set up your boundaries so that nobody can gaslight you. That's the first thing. I walked away from a marriage. You know, because Zimbabwe, marriage is so important. Kuve mainingi. Ininda eve maikatsande. Unaita chimiro kunzi maikatsande. As divorcees, we are treated awfully in our culture, right? To divorce
almost the same way as somebody who is HIV positive, it's
exactly.
Almost the same way.
It's almost worse than being widowed, because being a widow, divorce, you become this strident, radical, rabid person. But you know what? For my peace of mind, for my peace of mind, and to tell my own story, I had to decide that, you know what? I'm at the point now where I need to take control of my reality and my story. I'm at the point where this is not working for me and it's actually detrimental to my health. Tete, when I was married, I was getting urinary tract infections every month. I would have those suppositories. I was slowly dying, right? I had to divorce because it was killing me. That's what I talk about when I'm talking about personalizing my story, right? The same thing, your own child, you need to let your adult children go and grow. Sana mai, isusu, we in Zim, we want to hold on to our children. We want to be, almost like mother hens. Italians are the same, guys. It's not anything right or wrong. I'm not making a judgment. I'm just saying that you need to let an adult child go and make their mistakes.
But back to HIV, I know Wadzi is an advocate. If you let her, she will tell you about everything. But I still want to talk about your 31 years living with HIV. How has it been like for you, because you've worked in different countries for
Yes.
very high organization, big jobs, right? How has it been working with those people and them you disclosing your status?
First things first, for most of my life, I did not. I was 50 when I disclosed my status because of stigma. I'm lucky I work in the United Nations. It's a place where I can safely disclose my status, but only to the medical people. Remember, a lot of people do not have that luxury.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you, Tete, there is a danger in disclosing your status. Not everybody should come out. Not everybody can do what I do, can get on, broadcasts and talk about it, because it's dangerous.
It is.
Because people don't believe that right now I cannot transmit the disease. If we have sex without condoms right now, I will not transmit the disease because I'm taking antiretrovirals. I'm undetectable right now, right?
Well, you
And
see,
we
because
have
the average person do not understand you equals you, that when you are undetectable, if you take your medication and it's suppressed, your viral load is suppressed, you do not transmit HIV. All the little things, but there are major things in HIV, because a lot of people don't know those. This is science, right? The magic
It's
of
science,
science.
yes. And the thing is, and I know a lot of people don't know because I've been trying to date as a divorcee. The minute I tell somebody I'm HIV positive, you can see the change in their
Yeah.
face. You can see, because they don't understand that the science has progressed. People, the stories around HIV are still in 1992. They're prehistoric. People still think people are dying of HIV. HIV is a chronic disease. I'm telling you, I'd rather have HIV than have diabetes.
Yeah.
Anybody who knows me, I will tell you today, HIV is a chronic disease that I would rather have than many other chronic diseases, because I can live my full life. Full. No stories. I travel, I dance. You see me on Facebook. I write. I work full time. I'm a mother, I'm an aunt, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm all those things. I live my best life. One of the things that I must say, Tete, aging with HIV, is that we just need, you age normally, right? But because of the disease, some things are more critical. So,
Yes.
like the mental health,
Yeah.
having a disease like this and suffering from stigma is a trauma.
It is.
So, because of the trauma, we who are with HIV tend to have more depression. And we also have more seasonal depression because vitamin D is very low in most people with HIV. Our vitamin D, I have to take vitamin D supplements. In summer, I sit in the sun like I'm white. Honestly, I get a tan. Ndotogara mzuva kutoti zuva rabuda, because we need the vitamin D. So there are certain things that, as we age, because remember, we're the first generation of people aging with HIV.
True.
So we are a petri dish. We are what science is looking at to see how people age with HIV. Right now, Tete, I'll tell you one example. I just right now have put on 20 to 30 kgs because of the medication I was on. Right? And so we're struggling with my doctors to find out how we get that medication, how we lose weight so that I can be a good weight, because you don't want to be overweight,
Yeah.
because it comes with its own issues. But by the same token, I've got to balance the overweight with with my keeping my HIV status good. So there's a point where I have to say, okay, a little bit of extra weight won't kill me, right? Because I've just got to stay exercised, I've got to stay healthy, I've got to stay in prime health. Health is wealth. So the first thing, how did I survive 31 years? If I even got a sniffle, a cold, I went to a doctor. If you get, because HIV, you don't die of HIV, you die of an opportunistic infection. So even a lot of people forget gum health, the mouth. is one of the biggest killers of HIV right now, because people forget dental. Look after your health. Look after, if you get a slight infection, usagara uchiti handino stima and no,
You
go to
know,
a doctor.
I can totally understand that. I don't know if people who are following us understand. I've worked in HIV for the past 11 years, and I've seen people who are HIV positive. I also understand how it works. I know the viral load, how it works on you, how it protects your immune system, how it protects you from all kinds of diseases, and the dangers of overlooking those kind of things which might look small. When one is HIV positive, they are at greater risk of all kinds of little diseases because their immune system is working overtime to keep them going, and really with the help of medication. But the ordinary person doesn't know that and said, "Oh, I'm taking my pills. I'm okay. I'm okay." And for you to reach that undetectable level, there are things that you need to do. Your medication is absolutely important. For the ones who
Absolutely.
are undetectable, the moment you stop taking your medication, it starts going up again. And when
You cannot miss a night. I cannot miss a night. In fact, the science says you can, in a month, you can only miss maybe 1 or 2 days. But you are running the risk of that medication not being able to work in your body anymore. Saka, you do not want to get the medication not to work in your body. So the upenyu wako ndewe mapiritsi. Inwa mapiritsi ako daily at the same time. So I really don't want to leave. We've got very few minutes left. So I'm going to tell you how to manage with HIV.
yeah, I
First,
wanted you to tell us how to manage with HIV and to talk to me about your book, the
yes,
anthology which you wrote with other people who are living with HIV. What it's like, the faces of HIV, behind HIV, because people don't talk about it. It's not every day people sit and listen to somebody who's lived with HIV for 31 years. They just think, you know what? It's important for us to bring such stories to people so they understand what it's all about. I've got a great passion for HIV because I've worked,
you've lived exactly,
I've lived
Tete.
with people who are living with it. Though I'm not HIV positive, but I am so behind it, and I'm a great advocate for this. It's very important. Yes, go ahead
The
and tell us
first
about
thing,
that.
Tete, ndozviziva kuti vanhu vari kuti ari kutaura zvemadhokta mari yacho tinoiwana sei. The first thing is nutrition. Chikafu chaunodya is the food, is what's going to see you through your illness. Eat well. Eat, and you can grow your own veggies, guys. You can grow your own garlic. You can grow your own ginger. I have ginger tea, lemon, my lemon garden, even here in Rome. So eat well. That's the first thing. Second thing, take your medication religiously.
Religiously.
Take your
Religiously.
medication religiously. Take it every day. It doesn't matter. Do not skip. The third thing, and this is so important, guard your soul. Get rid of toxic people in your life. Set boundaries. Do not do things that do not feed your soul. The fourth thing, and this is so important, have positive influencers in your life. Tete vangu vanondiudza daily kuti Wadzi, I admire you, I love you.
Yeah.
She showers me with validation. She gives me the love that I need to know kuti I am making a difference. Surround yourself with people like that, but surround yourself with people who tell you the truth. Because at the same time, Tete vangu will say, Wadzanai, you get yourself together, girl. You need to look good. Usabude nezvawakatipfekera izvozvo uri kuenda kupi. You know, this
Aiwa,
is
indotaura.
important.
Ini ndinokuudza. But
Truth tellers are very important in your life. You need people who see you as you are. My children are fantastic. You know, I speak to them daily. They talk to me, they ask me. So get these positive role models around you. Those are the 4 things you need just to get through life. But honestly, walk away from toxic situations.
And another
Learn
thing,
to step. Munoziya Johnny Walker keep on stepping. Rora step Uchibuda. Our book is called Beyond and Behind the Faces of HIV and AIDS. If you want to contribute, I'm doing this project until the end of June. It's free. I've put the link below. So please click, read the book. My story is called A Miracle of Science. It's a plethora of stories from different people.
And another thing you should like to tell people from me as an educator, HIV educator, is don't be pushed by people to disclose your status, because it's like you said, it's very dicey. It's not, the world is not quite so good, and it will take its toll on your mental health if you are pushed to disclose your HIV status. Wait until you feel ready. When you are ready, then you can step out like Wadzanai as a strong person who will command power when he talks truth into your story. So if one is HIV, please, and I not test for, because HIV positive or not, the only way is if you go for testing. And if you test positive, the porter, we are all here to give you support. It's not a death sentence. And there are some people who say, I don't want to go test, I don't want to know. You can't do that, because meanwhile, your CD4 count will be going down and down, and your viral load is increasing, meaning the number of virus circulating in your body could be increasing, and you are open to all kinds of diseases, really, when you don't know. But face it, go get tested, and once you're tested, stay on your medication. The porter rangu, stay on your medication. You live, like you said, it's a chronic disease now. You just live with your medication. You take your medication. Same thing is diabetes. If you don't give yourself your shot or your medication, you get sick. You get in a coma. Same thing with HIV. Let us be the advocates for this. Let us be the people who talk to our communities about HIV and empower those who are living with HIV. Either they have a friend, a relative, somebody in the family who has HIV, because it's not a killer disease anymore.
No. Tete, I just want to end by saying, exercise compassion with yourself. Inine, I always say, practice your ABCs. Attend to your basic needs with compassion. The biggest killer of people with HIV is the voice in your head. That voice, inoti ndakutofa. Razodai ndakutofa. No, you're not dying. You're not, you only die when God wants you to go. There's only one person who knows the day you're going to die.
Yeah.
It's God. It's not you. So that voice in your head, make it your friend. Talk to yourself as you would, your best friend would talk to you. Do not allow the negative voice. That's where I want to end with ABC, please. Attend to your basic needs with compassion. Do not end that, Tete.
Thank you. You know what? It takes a lot for somebody to be so vulnerable, to come out here and tell us about things that everybody, I see everybody was quiet. I mean, the whole time, sometimes people will be asking questions, but this is deep. This is really deep and so fulfilling, because it's so educational. We listen to Wadzanai, who has lived stories are so important. And to me, hats off to one other ordinary person who is doing extraordinary work. Thank you so much, Wadzanai. And thank you very much, everybody, for following us and listening to what she was telling us about HIV. It's a passionate topic for me and for Wadzanai. I hope if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. And if you want to be connected to Wadzanai, I can always do that. But again, if you test positive, don't make people force you to disclose until you are ready. Time will come when you are, then you'll be okay. Thank you so much. From me, Sangwadzi, Spiwe Kachizama Fumo. I'll see you next Saturday.
Bye-bye. Thank you.